Welcome to Urban Review. And first of all, let me say that our show is partially sponsored by the Office of National Drug Control Policy, and therefore the thoughts and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the Office of National Drug Control Policy. But we are glad to be here today as we celebrate the wrap up of the sixth season of Urban Review. And we'll be coming back next month for launching our seventh season. And as we're in the month of September, this is Suicide Prevention Month. So let's talk a little bit about suicide and why does it matter? Well, suicide is the 12th leading cause of death here in the United States, and unfortunately, it's the fourth leading cause of death for adolescents, the ages of 15 through 19. In 2020, an estimated 3.2 million people planned a suicide, 1.2 million people attempted a suicide, and there were 45,979 deaths by suicide. More than half of all the suicides involve firearms, and there are almost twice as many deaths by suicide than are by homicide. When someone dies by suicide, as with many causes of death, the loss is also felt by many people. The ripples of the loss spread from close family members and friends to community members and acquaintances, and even people that the deceased didn't know at all. All of those exposed to the loss may experience different levels of grief and trauma. Societal costs associated with suicide and suicide attempts are estimated at $93.5 billion. That's right, billion with a B. These costs include lifetime medical fees and lost work. Mental health and substance use disorders are the most significant risk factors for suicidal behaviors. In addition, environmental factors such as stressful life events and access to lethal means such as firearms or drugs may increase the risk of suicide. And then previous suicide attempts are also important risk factors. Earlier I talked about who's affected. Well, the rate of suicide is higher among males who have a 4 times higher rate than females. The American Indian and Native American population who have a rate more than 3 times higher than the Asian population. Then you have adults who are ages 85 and older, and then you have individuals who are between the ages of 15 and 24. Veterans compared with non-veteran adults, and those living in rural areas compared to those living in urban areas. And then also, unfortunately, the LGBTQ adults and youth when you compare them with heterosexual adults and youth. Now, when we look at this, we've got to remember that suicide is something that is forever. And it is never the answer to a problem. It's hard to see alternatives when you are in a crisis, but alternatives do exist. Most people who consider suicide do not want to die. They want to plan, or the pain, to go away. And therefore, they utilize a forever solution to a temporary problem. But you've got to remember that life's most painful times don't last forever, even if it feels like they will. There are solutions, there are resolutions. Having suicidal thoughts is nothing to be ashamed of, but what it is something to get help for. Depression can be treated. Everyone feels sad or down sometimes. But if you or a loved one has an overwhelming feeling of despair, that lasts for more than 1 or 2 weeks, depression may be the cause. And some symptoms of depression include changes in your appetite or weight, sleeping too much, or not being able to sleep at all, not being able to enjoy things that used to be fun and things that you enjoy doing, forgetfulness and not being able to concentrate and focus on the time and the issues that are in front of you. Feeling worthless and hopeless is a symptom of depression. And feeling overwhelmed by life. And many of us do have to deal with that feeling of overwhelming. And we have to realize that that can be a symptom of depression, because depression is one of the most common mental illnesses in the United States, and it is also the most treatable. What we have to do and what we need to do is be able to talk to a doctor, to talk to a counselor about getting some help. And also our friends can make a difference. If you think a friend of yours is suicidal, take it seriously. He or she are things that if they share this with you, then you have to take it seriously, because they are reaching out for help. And there are some things specifically that you could do. Here are some of those things. First of all, let that person know that you care. Be empathetic and understanding as best you can. Listen to your friend's feelings and actively listen. Sometimes when we think we're listening, we're prying, we're asking questions, and we're not sitting back and absorbing and allowing the individual to express themselves. And a major way to do that is by being non-judgmental. Don't be shocked. Don't express shock if there's something that you didn't expect. People go through tremendous things, and we would be amazed, and we often are amazed, to discover what those people are going through. And another thing you can do is just ask the individual, are you thinking about suicide? Have you made a plan? And encourage that person to seek help. We have to understand that we know that we're not social workers, we're not therapists, we're not psychiatrists, we're not psychologists, we're not capable of answering those questions all the time. We're not counselors, but we're friends. And a friend lets someone know that they can get help, and they direct them to reach out. And you can let that individual know that there's a helpline, there's a crisis line, and you can assist that person by saying, hey, let's call it together now, and work with that individual to help them get to where they need to be. If you know a friend that has a suicide plan, don't leave that individual alone. Get help from professionals. Make the call yourself. Remove a gun or any other type of firearms or any type of stockpiles of pills or medications. If you're a teen, it's very important that you alert an adult. Someone that is important, that is an adult in your friend's life, in their family. Alert clergy. If it's at school, alert the teacher or the counselor. But you have to alert someone, even if at the time you have to convince your friend that you won't tell anyone, in order for them to share and be open with you. but it's important that you get the appropriate assistance and that you get the help that that individual will need. There are some strategies that have been created on a universal basis to get help for everyone that needs it. There is universal screening that takes place at emergency rooms to identify patients that are at high risk of suicide. There is safety planning at emergency rooms to assist patients with suicidal behaviors by providing them with a prioritized list of evidence-based copied strategies and coping strategies and sources of support. There is cognitive behavior therapy to identify and manage suicidal thoughts. And there is reducing means and access to lethal means such as firearms, lethal doses of medications, and alcohol. Studies over the past 2 decades show a strong association between the presence of a firearm in the home and the increased risk of suicide for the gun owner or the gun owner's spouse and or children. At the community level, the Gun Shop Project builds partnerships between firearms businesses and public health experts to provide firearm suicide prevention educational materials to firearm retailers, instructors, and customers. So if you know someone that owns a firearm or goes to a firearm retailer, look up the Gun Shop Project. That's the gunshopproject.com, and you will be able to get some educational information. And then also our communities, just like this episode here of our show, we're devoting resources to the public health domains of suicide prevention outlined in the state and trying to help here within Wayne County. So there is also some detailed information and detailed resources that exist at the Suicide Prevention Resource Center. And it is very effective for implementing effective suicide prevention programs in schools, universities, emergency departments, and communities and other organizations. And so if you're interested, you can contact the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and you can call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. Once again, that's 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-TALK. And here in Michigan, we do have the Michigan Association for Suicide Prevention. And, excuse me, they have a website. And that website is www.masponsweb.org. That's once again, that's masponswab.org, the Michigan Association for Suicide Prevention website. And once again, the phone number is 1-800-273-TALK or 1-800-273-8255. And you can also look in the phone book or our local community mental health center for the suicide hotline. And once again, you can also visit your family doctor, speak to a family member, talk to a friend, talk to the clergy, but get some support and get help. So that comes from the Center for Urban Youth and Family Development, as we wanted to devote a portion of this show and this episode to suicide prevention, as this month of September in the year of our Lord 2023, we celebrate life and happiness, and we want to do everything that we can to motivate and stimulate everyone to live a life of happiness and well-being. And so as we do our final episode of our 6th season of Urban Review, we let you know that we'll be right back after these messages from some of our sponsors.
Love your Avis Ford, because at Avis Ford, we make it easy to get you your no money down monthly payment right over the phone. We call it Shop by Phone, and it's the best way we know to get you your payment options fast. You want leather and a sunroof? How about an upgrade to all-wheel drive? Just give us a call. Shop online, shop by phone, or visit us at Telegraph at 12 Mile. Call 1-800-SHOP-FORD.
Meet Danny, high school senior, 17 years of age, all-A student. Danny is just now finding out he scored 1,490 out of 1,600 on his SAT. Danny's friend decided to ask, "How did you do it?" Danny replied, "I believe every day is a test. To fail or succeed, you choose." The effects of vaping is the one test that Danny chose not to study for.
Vaping does not discriminate on who becomes addicted. Over 2 million high school students use some type of electronic cigarette device. The top tobacco companies also own vaping devices. The FDA found that vaping contains some of the same toxic chemicals as regular cigarettes that lead to cancer. So whether you smoke traditional cigarettes with tobacco or smoke electronic cigarettes using nicotine, your health is at risk. There's no safe way to smoke. For more information, contact the Center for Urban Youth and Family Development.
The non-medical use of prescription drugs, including opioids, is a growing concern in our communities, affecting all ages, including our youth. If the medication wasn't prescribed to you or has expired, don't take it. If your name isn't on the bottle, it's not meant for you to swallow. Addiction is real, and lives are being ruined. Or worse yet, lost.
Visit preventiondetroit.org/opioids to find prescription Dropbox locations.
The Center for Urban Youth and Family Development is a nonprofit organization that focuses on preventing personal problems we believe are facilitated by being raised in a foster care environment, or remediating potential problems through education and information to the community. Our programs focus on 3 key areas: youth aging out of foster care, community action, and healthcare. Our programs are focused on young adults in the foster care system who are about to age out, those that have just aged out, and the community at large. The Center for Urban Youth and Family Development hosts a variety of services focusing on the needs of foster care youth throughout the community. We also work with numerous community coalitions in our efforts to provide the best services for our clients and to help build stronger communities. We believe that a healthy mind and body are cornerstones to a healthy and prosperous community. The Center also engages our community in mental health and wellness advocacy, as well as suicide prevention. Fostered youth emerge from the foster care system vulnerable to substance abuse, with little opportunity to obtain higher education or develop life skills. The Center for Urban Youth and Family Development empowers youth that are in and transitioning out of the foster care system to overcome the struggles and challenges by providing them substance abuse prevention, life skills training, and workforce development programs. Drawing from the life experiences of our founder, Mr. Marcel Arbuckle, we open the door to positive and productive life through education, health, and life skills development. For more information, you can visit our website at cuyfddetroit.org or check out our social media at cuyfddetroit.
welcome back to Urban Review, and we're happy to be back. You caught me with something hanging out of my pocket there. It was good. It was a good thing, but we just want to continue on with our information to help you with addressing the issue of suicide and depression. And we know that there is going to be some trainings coming up on trauma and pain on September the 22nd, tomorrow, and also on September the 29th. There will be a training entitled Understanding the Impact of Trauma. And this is the conference will focus on the impact of trauma by recognizing that trauma is a health concern and it impacts the emotional and physical wellness of individuals. We believe that it will impact their behavioral health. Providers can begin to provide support to consumers through the implementation of evidence-based and best practice interventions and a collaborative system across all networks. So we are looking to invite adult providers, case managers, social workers, professional counselors, addiction counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, administrators, and clinical directors who are serving adults. And this conference is going to take place September the 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Doubletree Hotel, which is located at 5801 Southfield Road. And if you'd like to register for that, you can just register at www.dcwtraining.com. Once again, that's www.dawctrainings.com. And that is understanding the impact of trauma at the Doubletree Hotel in Southfield, 5801 Southfield Road. Also, there will be a follow-up meeting on September the 29th, next Friday, and it will take place at Lincoln Behavioral Services, which is located at 9315 Telegraph Road in Redford. And this will take place between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., and it is understanding the impact of pain. And pain management is a required competency for all licensed social workers. The overall purpose of this course is to encourage and help participants to develop a better understanding of and manage the ethical issues and dilemmas they encounter in practice related to pain management. They get to identify ethical principles present in caring for a pain patient with an addictive disease. They'll discuss the practical applications of pain management related to ethical dilemmas. They will describe the changes occurring within the pain management field because of the opioid epidemic, and they will discuss factors related to the CDC or Center for Disease Control guidelines. They will also identify components of the multimodal pain management therapies. So if you are interested in that, you can just, once again, register at www.dwctrainings.com, and that is for September the 22nd, Understanding the Impact of Trauma, and September the 29th, Understanding the Impact of Pain. And remember that if you know anyone that needs assistance, you can always access the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network's 24-hour access number, which is 800-241-4949. Once again, that's 800-241-4949. And earlier I indicated that this was our last show, or this was our last episode of the season. So if you just happen to tune in, just as I said those words, this is the last episode. It is the last episode of the season. of our 6th season here on WHPR TV 33. And we're so happy to have had the opportunity to work with the fantastic production staff here, Mr. Henry Tyler and his crew, Tim, and all of our friends up at the administrative desk, Miss Maxine, and of course, we also want to acknowledge and congratulate Ms. Cunningham, Michelle, for her upcoming class reunion from Pershing High School, the old Doughboys there, and we hope and know that they will have a wonderful celebration. And then, of course, the station Grand High Exalted Ruler himself, R.J. Watkins, and the fine job that these guys are doing here. And then we also acknowledge the fact that we are being broadcast abroad and over via Roku, that you can check us out over in the Caribbean, and we're sharing our message abroad here as well, here in the Motor City, and specifically in Highland Park and all across the metro area. And we hope that the work that we're doing and the message that we're sharing is being impactful. We hope that we're doing it in an effective and pleasant and fun and enjoyable way. We are having a great time, and we want to continue to do this work. And as a part of that, we're very, very happy to announce that the Center for Urban Youth and Family Development has been awarded the Drug-Free Communities Grant to continue our work with our Coalition for Urban Youth and Family Development on Detroit's West Side. And we will also be expanding our work with the Partnership for Success to start doing the infamous training throughout the West Side and in the 48238 and 48235 zip code areas to provide strengthening families trainings, to provide support for the development of families. And we will have an opportunity to do work that is very essential to the name of our great organization. And we also want to just give a shout out to the men of New Omega chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. As you see, I have on my pen here, and we just had a grand event downtown in the ballroom of the Motor City Casino, where we had over 500 guests at our sit-down dinner to celebrate our centennial anniversary, 100 years of providing support to the community here in the city of Detroit, and of course at our Oasis of Omega located at 255 East Ferry Street. And on that note, I wrap it up and bring you greetings from the Center for Urban Youth and Family Development. Please feel free to reach out to us at any time. Our phone number is 313-340-3101. That's 313-340-3101. And we're located at 15827 Indiana Street. And you can contact us at www.cuyfddetroit.org. Once again, that's www.cuyfddetroit.org. And check us out on Facebook and on Twitter at CUYFD Detroit. And you can also get to us by contacting us, cuyfddetroit@gmail.com. And as I come to a close, I wrap it up, as always, that if you're up against some trouble, meet it squarely face to face. Plant your feet, set your shoulders, lift your chin, and take a brace. And if the worst is bound to happen in spite of all that you can do, you may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. Even hope may seem but futile when with troubles you'll be set. But remember, you are facing just what other men have met. If you fail, fall still fighting. Don't give up whatever you do. Eyes front, head high to the finish. See it through. And in the immortal words that Nelson Mandela said to himself each year in the 27 years of captivity, out of the night that covers me, black as a pit that from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods there be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not once nor cried aloud, and under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. But beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. For it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the captain of my fate and the master of my soul. Thank you for watching Urban Review.